What if I told you there's a country where ancient castles stand proudly on mountaintops, watching over the land like silent guardians, where hidden beaches sit inside giant caves carved by nature itself, and where entire cities glow with colors so bright and beautiful that they feel almost unreal? A place where every road leads to a new surprise, every village tells an old story, and every landscape looks like it was painted by a master artist. That place is Portugal, a small country with massive wonders. And today, we're going on a journey to discover some of its most mind-blowing locations. From magical palaces that look like they jumped out of a fairy tale, to cliffs that rise high above the endless blue ocean, to villages made of stone, forests filled with mist, and rivers that sparkle under the sun. Get ready, because every stop on this adventure is more surprising, more beautiful, and more unforgettable than the last. This isn't just a trip, it's a journey into one of the most amazing places on Earth. Lisbon doesn't just welcome you, it grabs your attention from the very first second you set foot in the city. Bright yellow trams climb the steep hills like tiny storytellers on rails, the old streets twist and turn like a maze full of surprises, and the rooftops glow in the soft sunlight, spreading out like a warm red blanket over the city. Every corner feels alive. You hear guitars playing soft fado music, you smell fresh bread and roasted chestnuts in the air, and you see people laughing, chatting, and enjoying life in the open squares. Then you reach Belém, where Belém Tower rises from the water like a tiny stone castle guarding the river. It's small, it's elegant, and it looks like something from a storybook, the kind of place where you expect knights or explorers to appear at any moment. And of course, you can't talk about Lisbon without tasting the city's most famous treasure, the warm, golden custard tarts from Pastéis de Belém. The outside is crispy, the inside is creamy, and together they taste like sweet, sugary magic that melts right in your mouth. But here's the thing, Lisbon is only the beginning. It's the introduction, the opening chapter, the warm-up act. Because the next place on our journey doesn't just look beautiful, it feels like stepping straight into a dream filled with color, mystery, and wonder that you'll never forget. Sintra is a place you won't believe until you see it with your own eyes. It's the kind of place that makes you stop, stare, and wonder if you accidentally walked into another world. Fog drifts slowly through the forests, ancient palaces rise between the trees, and hidden pathways twist through the hills like secret trails made for explorers. Every step feels like you walking deeper into a fairy tale, a story full of mystery, color, and magic. At the very top of the mountain stands the legendary Painted Palace. You see it long before you reach it, glowing in bright yellow, red, and blue, almost as if it was painted by a dreamer with the biggest imagination in the world. Up close, it feels unreal. The walls are bold, the towers are playful, and the view stretches all the way to the ocean. It's not just a palace, it's a masterpiece floating above the clouds. And then there's the Initiation Well, one of Sintra's most mysterious treasures. It's a deep, spiraling staircase carved into the earth, going down and down like a portal to another realm. When you stand inside, the sunlight falls in thin beams from above, and the cool air wraps around you. It feels ancient, secret, and powerful, almost like you've discovered a hidden world waiting to tell its story. But here's the best part. Sintra's magic doesn't end in the mountains. Because once we leave the foggy forests and the colorful palaces, we head straight to the coast. And what waits for us there is even more breathtaking. The Algarve is where Portugal truly shows off, where the country stops being beautiful and becomes absolutely jaw-dropping. Picture this, golden cliffs rising high above the blue ocean, their rocky edges carved into dramatic shapes by wind and waves over thousands of years. Below them lie secret coves and beaches so perfect, so spotless, so glowing in the sunlight. You'd swear someone edited them to look that magical. The water here isn't just blue. It shifts from turquoise to emerald to deep sapphire as the waves move. Boats glide gently across the surface, slipping into hidden caves that seem too stunning to be real. Everywhere you look, the coast feels like a natural masterpiece. And the most famous star of all, Benadryl Cave. This is not just a cave, it's a natural cathedral built by the ocean. A massive dome carved out of ancient rock, with walls glowing gold as sunlight reflects off the sandy floor. Above you, a giant round opening, the eye of the cave, lets sunlight pour in like a spotlight from the sky. Inside, the sound changes. Waves echo softly, bouncing off the curved walls. The sand lights up under the sunbeam. And for a moment, the whole world feels quiet and magical. Standing there feels like discovering a hidden paradise that nature kept secret for centuries. But the Algarve is only one side of Portugal's beauty. Because Portugal still has more surprises ahead, and the next place isn't just beautiful. It's full of history, charm, and stories waiting to be told. Porto feels like an adventure frozen in time, a city where every street, every building, and every river view makes you feel like you're walking through a storybook. Its narrow streets twist and turn like ancient mazes, leading you past tiny shops, old houses, and hidden stairways that seem to climb in every direction. The walls are covered in blue and white azulejo tiles, each one painted with scenes from history: kings, sailors, battles, legends. It's like the city is talking to you through art. And then there's the river, the calm, shimmering Douro, stretching peacefully through the city as boats glide across it like floating memories. Above it rises the massive Dom Luisi Bridge, a giant steel arch that looks both strong and elegant, connecting the two sides of Porto like a gateway between past and present. When you stand at the top of the bridge, something magical happens. The entire city opens up before you. Rows of colorful houses stacked on the hillside, red rooftops glowing in the sunlight, and the river sparkling like a silver ribbon cutting through the heart of it all. It's one of those views that makes you stop and breathe a little slower. But Porto's beauty doesn't end in the city. Just outside, the hills are covered with endless green terraces, layered like giant steps climbing toward the sky. This is where port wine is born, in vineyards that stretch for miles, cared for by families who have worked this land for generations. The air smells like grapes, earth, and tradition. But our journey is far from over. Because the next place isn't a city, or a village, or a castle. It's an island, a wild, breathtaking island that looks like nature's masterpiece, carved by mountains, softened by forests, and shaped by the sea into something truly unforgettable. Madeira is like a floating garden in the middle of the ocean, a place so lush, so green, and so full of life that it almost feels imaginary. The weather here is gentle and warm almost every single day, wrapping the island in a constant spring. The mountains rise suddenly from the sea, covered in soft mist that moves slowly through the valleys like drifting clouds. Every hillside is decorated with flowers, ferns, and bright green plants, making the whole island look like nature's personal masterpiece. And the coastline? It's dramatic and unforgettable. Huge cliffs drop straight into the deep blue Atlantic, creating the kind of scenery that makes you stop and stare for a long moment. The most epic spot of all is Cabo Jareo, one of the highest sea cliffs in the entire world. When you step onto the glass skywalk, a clear platform hanging high above the ocean, you can look straight down and see the waves crashing hundreds of meters below. Your heart skips a beat, your legs feel a little weak, and at the same time, you can't help but smile because the view is absolutely unreal. But Madeira's magic doesn't stop there. The island has natural swimming pools carved from volcanic rock, where ocean waves gently fill the crystal-clear basins. It has ancient laurel forests filled with giant trees, moss-covered stones, and walking paths that make you feel like you've entered a hidden world. It has sunrise viewpoints where the clouds sit below you like a white ocean, and sunset spots where the sky turns gold, pink, and purple all at once. Every corner of Madeira feels like a place you've never seen before. But here's the best part. Just when you think the journey is over, just when you feel like you've seen Portugal's biggest wonders, the country gives you one final surprise, a place that ties the whole adventure together and leaves you amazed all over again. The Azores feel untouched, powerful, and alive, like a place where nature still writes the rules. This remote group of islands sits in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, surrounded by endless waves and wild beauty. The air feels fresh and clean, the landscapes are bold and dramatic, and everywhere you go, you feel this quiet, natural energy that's hard to describe but impossible to forget. Here, you can watch whales and dolphins swimming near the coast, sometimes so close that you can hear the splash of their tails as they rise from the water. The Azores are one of the best whale-watching spots on the planet, and seeing these massive creatures in the wild is something that stays with you forever. You can also walk through volcanic valleys, where black rocks, hot springs, steam vents, and strange formations remind you that the islands were born from fire. Some places look peaceful, others look powerful, and some look like a completely different world. And then there are the crater lakes, huge bowls left behind by ancient volcanoes, now filled with calm, colorful water. They sit high in the mountains, surrounded by forests, cliffs, and rolling green hills. Standing at the edge feels like staring into a secret hidden by the earth itself. But the most iconic, most breathtaking, most unforgettable place of all, Sintra, a massive volcano crater holding two side-by-side lakes, one a bright, shimmering blue, the other a deep, glowing green. They rest quietly next to each other, perfectly still, perfectly calm, like two colors painted into the land. Blue lake, green lake, separated only by a thin bridge, yet contrasting in the most magical way. Around them rise tall crater walls covered in thick green vegetation, making the whole view look like something from a fantasy world. When you stand at the famous viewpoint, the wind gently brushing your face, the lakes shining below you, it feels unreal. It feels sacred. It feels like you're looking at nature at its purest. This is the kind of place you don't just visit. It's the kind of place you remember forever, long after your trip is over, long after your photos fade. Because the Azores stay with you in a way few places ever do. Portugal isn't just a country. It's a world of surprises, a place where every landscape feels different, every region has its own personality, and every moment feels like it belongs in a travel dream. It's a land where ancient castles stand proudly on mountaintops, where colorful cities shine with life and music, where mysterious forests, golden beaches, and volcanic islands create scenes you thought only existed in movies. In Portugal, every step reveals something new. One day you're exploring palaces covered in mist, the next, you're standing inside a glowing sea cave, and the day after that, you're rewatching the sunset from a cliff so high that the world below looks like a painting. Every city tells a different story, from the bright rooftops of Lisbon to the timeless charm of Porto. Every island feels like nature showing off, from the floating gardens of Madeira to the wild, untouched power of the Azores. And every coastline, every village, every hidden path adds another layer to this incredible country. Portugal isn't just a destination. It's an experience, a feeling, a collection of memories waiting to be made. So if you ever want a trip filled with magic, beauty, and moments you'll hold on to for the rest of your life, Portugal is waiting for you, with open arms, open skies, and endless wonder. And if you enjoyed this journey, don't forget to like the video, subscribe for more adventures, and hit the bell so you never miss the next one.